was the time was ripe to set up an organization in Greece which would come to bridge the gap that had been created because of the financial and political crisis among citizens and politicians in an effort to safeguard democracy. By connecting politicians and citizens, we wanted to create trust, and we wanted at the same time to push for a new political paradigm which would be based on openness, transparency, and accountability, which are essential elements of a well-functioning democracy. And we think that you can achieve that, you can achieve trust by having things in the open and letting citizens feel that they are engaged in the political process. And we thought that the best way of doing this was to employ civic technology, because it allows citizens to have access to information. It allows citizens to, and the ones promoting this information, to make complex issues into more sort of digestible bits and bytes. You can use data, you can use visualizations, but you can also create channels of communication between the elected representatives and citizens, and obviously create an atmosphere of, if you like, give a chance to citizens to act as watchdogs and monitor the political process. Because many of you may wonder what Vouli means. Well, Vouli means parliament in Greek. So Vouliwatch is a parliamentary, it started off primarily as a parliamentary monitoring organization, which, as I mentioned earlier on, makes use of civic-tech to create sort of an environment of trust between politicians and citizens and promote transparency. But gradually the organization evolved, and we're no longer a purely, if you like, geeky PMO, Parliamentary Monitoring Organization, but we are also a campaigning and advocacy organization that works on issues of political accountability, political transparency. We pay specific attention and focus on issues such as the asset declarations, for instance, of members of parliament, political party financing, generally promoting the open government agenda. In more practical terms, Vouliwatch, firstly, the first step towards our establishment as a PMO and as an NGO was the creation of our platform. Our platform is basically, I like to term it and to describe it as a tool which contains all the necessary applications that would allow a citizen to exert control over their government and parliament. We do so by providing a series of tools. The most notable one is the tool that allows citizens to send questions, comments, proposals to their elected members of parliament and the ministerial cabinets. In doing so, the question or the proposal obviously goes through a sort of approval system. We make sure basically that the questions and the comments that are uploaded are not incendiary, are not sexist, racist, and so on. So there's a code of conduct which we instated so that we would secure a sort of civilized, if you like, dialogue within the platform, which would make it easier for politicians to participate as well. So the main component is a Q&A function. Another important component is the fact that we've created dedicated profiles. Imagine something like a Facebook profile for each member of parliament and cabinet minister, whereby a citizen can monitor his or her activity specifically. They can see, for instance, how he votes in roll call votes, his parliamentary activity in terms of parliamentary control, such as questions posed in parliament, etc. The topics that he's more concerned with based on his parliamentary activity that we record. And also you can see other features such as his CV, etc. But most importantly, we also present their asset declarations in a digital way, if you like. And this was a result of one of our biggest and first campaigns as an organization, because up until very recently, before our campaign, the asset declarations were not published in machine readable format. They were only uploaded on Parliament's website for a mere 30 days, after which it would disappear. So we've created a huge archive that one can find in the profiles. And additionally, we've given MPs the opportunity and politicians the opportunity to upload their own content as well, like press releases or whatever they wish to promote, again, as a sort of way to welcome them in the platform and make them more engaged. Then another important tool that is comprised within the platform of Vouliwatch is we call it the Vouliwatch. Vouliwatch basically is a tool that allows citizens to monitor all the bills that are being voted in Parliament. We not only present the roll call results, but what we do is we try to translate the bills article by article from legalese, a language that not many people may understand, to a text that is more approachable and easily to digest by the majority of people, because it's essential for people to actually understand what's being voted, what's being discussed, so that then they can participate effectively. Then we've got this other tool called Policy Monitor. The Policy Monitor is a digital tool that allows citizens to compare political parties' positions on specific themes. We also have created a tool that we call Vouli Open, Vouli Data. So it's like parliamentary data. And what we do there is basically, we're doing what the Greek Parliament should have been doing, but they're not doing it. What we're doing there is we're taking data from Parliament, such as the parliamentary control questions and the legislative process, and we are rendering it into open data format by also visualizing, creating visualizations and graphs of the data that we collect. This data is available on the Parliament's website, but it's badly organized. There's no visualizations involved whatsoever. So we believe that through this specific application, a citizen can have a proper overview of what's going on in Parliament. And finally, we just recently soft launched, we haven't done it like properly yet, a tool which is dedicated specifically to asset declarations, through which citizens can not only monitor the asset declarations and study the asset declarations of each MP through visualizations, through graphs, through actual data, but they can also compare the asset declarations of different members of Parliament through time, according to political parties. And also you can use various filters to define, for instance, to see, which are the political parties that whose MPs and politicians have more, I don't know, bigger debts, or which politicians are the wealthiest, and so on and so forth. So this is the arsenal, if you like, of tools that Vouliwatch provides. And we think that, if you combine all these tools together, then a citizen should have a clear picture, A, of what's happening in Parliament, but also he can get the means to communicate their concerns, proposals, questions, and be heard. And to top all this up, we also have, it's not so much a digital tool, but it's something of a service that we offer. We do parliamentary reporting as well. So like we've got a journalist that works for us, and we report on the day-to-day activities of Parliament, obviously without making comments, because we're trying to, and we have to be as non-partisan as we can. If we want to have accountability, if we want to have transparency, if we want to have a solid democracy, I think open data is essential towards that, because it provides information, it helps you manage this data and create knowledge, create patterns, investigate. And this is something that over the last few years we've been advocating for as partners also and active members in the OGP, Open Government Partnership process. If you ask me, I think that civic society, civic tech organizations alone are not as impactful as one would like to think. They are a complementary tool, of course, but they cannot alone bring change. And this is why around like 3 years after we launched our project, we decided to engage more with campaigning and advocacy work. And our campaigns and our advocacy work got a lot of attention, popularity, which in the end fed our civic tech platform and brought in our civic tech platform more people, and more people were using then our civic tech platform. So most people in Greece at the moment know us because we helped change, for instance, the legislation on asset declarations, because we uncovered the involvement of big tech giant Palantir with the Greek government, because we do access to information requests to reveal information disclosed unlawfully by the government. So this has fed, let's say, one of our activities, the campaigning has fed in the end the other, which has helped us grow in strength, popularity, and impact as a project. And obviously, another important thing to consider when doing the type of work that we do is that you need to be friends with journalists. You need to have a good network of journalists. All our campaigns, all our news, our work goes to at least 5 or 6 decent news websites and so on. But most importantly, try to create media partnerships. Over the last 6 years, we've created, like we've had a few media partnerships that, you know, some of them went well, some of them didn't, but they did help disseminate our work. And lastly, what helps us being impactful is creating partnerships with other civil society organizations. I always say that my dream is that, you know, we will become one day obsolete.